This week, we are still talking about the perfect marriage and the perfect divorce, but we're not doing it alone.
Yes, we're joined with another book club podcast, Bookalicious.
Yes, it was so exciting. And so we sat down with them. They actually are remote and in 2 different states. So we're going to just toss it over to our wonderful conversation with them. Sit tight because it's like an hour.
Yes.
But it's a very fun hour.
All right, welcome. We have the most exciting episode of Bookalicious history, I think. We're making it right now.
Yeah, exciting.
We have some special guests.
Yes, 2 guests in the house. We have Jamie and Sarah.
All right. Thank you for having us. This is so fun. We have our own book club podcast as well, and it's so great. We've been following you guys online as well, and we're excited to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Of course. So your podcast is So Approachable.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all just finished The Perfect Marriage and The Perfect Divorce. Is that right?
Yes, we
Yes.
did.
Mm-hmm.
And we had thoughts.
Lots and lots of thoughts.
So we are excited to talk about those, especially because our book clubs have very, very different vibes. And we go through it very, very differently than you guys. So I think it's something that we'll have to get into.
Yeah, so I always tell people we get like a PhD in whatever book that we're reading. Like we know everything. Everything is underlined. My books are destroyed by the end of it. So definitely a deep dive. Whereas I feel like your pod is like a really good hit the highlights. You get all of the good summaries, the recaps, and you get like your thoughts, but you're not going to have to spend 17 hours.
Ours is more of the nutshell. Let's just tie it up in a bow. I do feel like it is maybe more concise than physically attending a book club because those you always get off topic and you're talking about a million other things. But we stay focused for a good 45 minutes to an hour on one book. So it is a different vibe than your typical book club. You guys are going so in depth, and I love it for specific books, maybe.
Yeah.
It's a big commitment if you're doing that for every book. Let me listen for 15 hours on this book that took me 2 hours to read.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But I loved you guys do video, which is really fun. And so I was watching your video on The Perfect Divorce, and I was like, wow, these people are so organized. They have all their notes out. They stay on track. Like, maybe we should consider some of these things.
You know, it does add another layer of the work to the process. So if you're not familiar with video editing, like, take your time. But for all of your listeners, come on over to YouTube or our Spotify channel. We offer the video on Spotify as well. So we are on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. And so there's just always something going.
Do you listen to like a lot of podcasts in your spare time?
I listen to true crime podcasts. I listen to all kinds of stuff, not necessarily based off of books, but I love true crime.
Yeah, I listen to some. I actually love listening to your guys'. It's kind of fun for if you guys have done a couple books that we've done. And so it's really fun to be like, wow, I missed that. And you guys really hit on that because you stop and think about it, where I'm just flying through the pages and don't even stop. So yeah, since we started the podcast, I really have listened to a lot more book club podcasts.
I started doing listening to other book podcasts. It's like research to see how do other people do it. Like, what about this? What about that? And then also just get other people's opinions. And I probably listen to like 40 hours of podcasts a week.
Wow.
Yeah, because I work from home and I work as like a little data monkey. So I'm alone all the time. So I have the podcast on and I say it's like my coworkers. So I have like a little bit of a chatter around me.
That's perfect because I'm at home with a toddler. And so that's why I always have something else going on because she's a chatter monkey and sometimes you just need adult conversation.
Yes.
So I wanted to pick your brains. I love that you guys are sisters, and I want to hear why or how you guys started your podcast.
Chrissy, I think you should take this one because I think this was your idea.
I know. It kind of, I will take the credit for this one. Candy has since run with it and now does all of our socials and has really taken it to the next level in a lot of ways. But yeah, okay. So it started, I don't know, 2 years ago-ish or something, I had actually read The Fault in Our Stars. Have you guys read that one?
I did a long time ago, yeah.
Classic, I know. Yeah. I had read it for the first time in high school, and then for some reason I just like picked it up again. Anyways, I read it all in one night, and I was like, gosh, like I just need to talk to someone about this. And so like I tried finding podcasts on it, but like they weren't talking about the things I wanted to talk about. So anyways, so then I was in this dilemma where I wanted to read more books, wanted to have someone to talk about it with, and I wanted to talk to my sister more. So then I came to Candy and was like, what do you think? I think we could do a podcast. And she said, let's do it.
That's awesome.
And now we're here.
I love that. So we were kind of joking before we pressed record that we built a podcast studio in my basement 2 years ago. Wow. And if you're keeping track, we started this podcast 5 months ago. So the podcast has been here, or the studio has been here for 2.5 years and has just been waiting for me to actually start. So my idea 2.5 years ago was to start a podcast with my sister, because she was a high school English teacher. She loves reading. She's always been in book clubs. I've never been in a book club. I just wanted to talk to my sister more. She lives in Michigan. We live in Maryland, and it would have been a fun way to connect. But the technology isn't her friend either. Like just she also is way like above me mentally. And so the books that she reads are like intriguing and not the perfect marriage or the perfect divorce. She's not going to the best sellers. Like, she's not up for the popular fiction. She wants the really obscure books. And I was like, well, we're not going to attract anybody that way. So I go to church with Sarah, and she had asked me a question about something else, about starting a fitness group. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, hey, what do you think about books and book clubs? And she's like, oh, well, I guess I like books. I've never been part of a book club, but I'd really like to be in one. I was like, well, what do you think about a podcast? And she just said yes. And like from that day, it's been like pedal to the floor, and she's my yes woman over here.
And I didn't realize, and not that I regret it, I didn't realize how much work it is.
Yeah.
I mean, for anyone that's going to start a podcast, it is so much more work than you think it is, right? There's like these little parts of it, like we were saying, editing. That's like, thank you for Jamie. But it's a lot of work. I mean, it's a lot of hours. It's a lot of time spent.
Yeah, my husband will tell you that it's a lot of time. And he was like, there were so many other things that we were going to do this spring, and then you just started a podcast. I'm like, oh, you know what? It's going to be fun, and it is a good outlet for me, and it's bringing new people into my life. I'm like talking people's ears off out in public, like, hey, do you like books? Do you like books? Let's chat. Let's chat. Be my friend. So it's been really fun.
Your husband should be surprised. You had your podcast studio for 2 years. Like,
well, right.
That's a good point.
And he was giving me crap about not using it. So it's like, okay, well, you can't like have both. We're going to use it, and we're doing it. The original idea also involved including our kids. And so that's still on the horizon, is we're going to bring the kids down in the studio and talk about their books that they're reading for school or for fun. And so that was really part of the initial want, and it was just like pulling teeth to get them to read books. So there was nobody pushing me along saying like, yeah, you can do it. That's an amazing idea. Let's go, until Sarah came along. And now she's stuck with me.
I mean, I'm okay.
And Sarah pushes me because we read different types of books. And so it really has been fun, even just in the 5 months that we've been doing it, to see how much we've grown. Because we'll go back and watch our first episodes, which we can bond over as well. Because our first episode was Frida McFadden, the housemaid. And so, like, we go back and look at that episode, and we're like, oh, wow, that was our first episode.
I was going to say, you don't even want to hear about our first book. So it took us like 17 episodes. We talked about it for like 30 hours. It was... So we've really come a long way.
So how did you guys come up with the format that you guys use?
Or even, how did you come up with your name? I'm curious of that.
That too.
That's true. Do you remember, Candy?
I remember, but I've been talking girly.
Okay, so first, the format. So we had planned out our first episode, and we're like, oh, maybe we'll have some games. We'll like judge a book by its cover, do a summary, talk about the book. But then as we've been going, we'll just kind of come up with more games and keep adding to it, which is why our episodes are so long. So now we have like 10 different segments that we go through for each book. So it's kind of just like developed that way, I think.
Why did you decide to do chapters at a time instead of a whole book?
I think that was more me. I think Chrissy wanted to do more of like the higher level, but like I said, I listen to like so many other podcasts, and one of my favorite types are these like really in-depth recaps where they have like a lot of commentary and they're like picking into it nonstop. Most of the recaps that I listen to are either on like TV shows or like reality shows, and I'll listen to 4 different people's perspective on the same episode because I don't know, I'm a glutton for content. So I think I was really wanting to like dig in. And so we've dialed back from 30 episodes for a book to, I think our sweet spot is like 3 to 4.
I just am curious how you manage that logistically, because if we had to wait for both of us to have a day where we could record and we've only read 10 chapters, we would never get any content out.
We have run into that problem.
I mean, I'm the slower reader. So usually it's Jamie waiting for me and being like, come on, I'm going to forget this whole book before you finish this book.
Yeah. Well, the silver lining to all this is that we're reading fewer books. So one book will last us like a month, which is the good part. As far as logistically, we definitely like take notes as we're reading. I think that probably helps. It's for mysteries, it's harder. Well, okay, so with mysteries, it's harder in one way because you just want to keep reading and you don't want to stop. On the flip side, that makes us record a lot more frequently because we're like, we just need to record so then we can like figure out what's actually happening here. So as we've been like trying to stockpile these last few months, we've done a lot of mysteries and it's been really good for our for our rations.
I will say I'm really impressed with your levels of deduction because golly, you guys guessed almost every single thing in The Perfect Marriage. Yeah. I was like, okay, because I went and listened to your episodes after I finished the whole book. And your first episode, you're like calling out all the bad guys. And even though you're just kind of like testing out theories, you touched on like every single thing. And I was like, if I would have paused and spent 2 hours deliberating this with you, we maybe could have come up with some of that. But like you said, like we just keep reading and I just let the author tell their story and I just get the end result. So I'm not sitting down. I think I had to purposefully close the book for Perfect Divorce and like make myself take a break so that I could come up with what my theories were. Yeah. So that when we discuss it on the podcast, I would have something intelligent to say. Otherwise, I just keep going because I want to find out.
I think Jeneva and I have watched the same episodes of Law & Order SVU because like a lot of like her plot points and a lot of her like twists, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like from this, from that, I feel like she and I would probably get along really well and we've probably consumed a lot of the same type of media. But what about yourselves? Like, how did you decide on like your format? Like, I love the TLDRs. I think that's so clever and smart to kind of give people a sample before they want to like jump into a full recap.
Well, the TLDRs kind of stem through, we didn't want to have to read 4 books a month.
And we didn't want to do 1 book a month.
Correct. So we needed something to kind of introduce. And I think Jamie kind of was like, all right, she brought quite a few suggestions. And I think this is one that we kind of really landed on. Like, okay, this is a great idea. Let's give our reviews. Like, what would you want to know about the book to see if you even want to read the book? And so it was kind of a fun way to introduce the book, get some reviews, read some reviews, and, instruct ourselves like, well, this is what we're getting into.
And we can make some predictions from there, but we literally only know stuff from the back of the book. So there's not a whole lot that goes into that. But I also think that episode can help people when they're looking at their TBR that just keeps piling up. And it's like, well, why don't you go listen to a 15-minute episode and see if that book seems worthwhile? And so, like, if you're trying to decide what to read, go look at our TBR or our TLDR episodes because that is just you're tiptoeing into the waters of that book. I'm trying to get people to just listen to those. You don't have to have done any homework yet. Just go listen to the short episode. It's fine. You'll like it, I promise. And that's where we do kind of like our get to know you and just that's the off-topic book club. We go and ask a question that we kind of think could maybe relate to the book somehow. We talked about our proposals because we were talking about divorce and engagement.
Oh, yes.
Marriage.
I loved hearing those stories. That was so fun.
I know. I love those episodes. I did have a question, though, with your TLDRs. So is it hard to not find spoilers? Because I'd be worried, especially for like a mystery as you're reading reviews. Like, do you ever accidentally spoil the whole book, or how does that happen?
I haven't yet. I pretty much stick to Goodreads, and Goodreads is pretty good about covering things that are spoilers. So, like, I don't go deep diving through reviews. I just look for a good one and a bad one, and I don't unblur anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good about making sure, like, if it says spoiler alert, like, quickly past that, because I don't want to know. And so we've been fortunate, and I'm sure it's going to happen sometime, that we haven't found any spoilers. I was going to say, what is your guys' favorite genre of books? Like, what type of books?
I love fantasy and thrillers, and you'll notice we do a lot of fantasy and thrillers.
Who picks the books?
Candy does a lot.
I do. The books Chrissy picks, I think, Jamie, she would be similar to your sister. I call them snooze fests. So we'll throw in a couple here or there. But Chrissy, why don't you share what genres you like?
Well, I was going to say, Candy would say my favorite genre is the snooze fest books, because those are always my contributions to our TBR list. For the pod, I think I like doing mysteries a lot because that's really fun. You get to like come up with the theories. But yeah, outside of pod, I do like the snooze books, but like the ones that make you think. So like we read Flowers for Algernon. I don't know if you guys have read that one. Oh, so good. So good.
High school,
Sad book. Yeah. I read it in middle or high school or something. But yeah, it's maybe, I don't know if it's as fun to pod on, because we definitely didn't laugh as much during those episodes, but I really enjoyed reading it.
Have you guys ever done nonfiction?
We are strictly fiction, and for me, I feel like we like to do kind of snark sometimes, and I feel like it's fun to be snarky about like a fake book, but if that's like someone's memoir and that's their life, I don't want to be making jokes about your life.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. We've only done one nonfiction so far, but we're trying to incorporate it more just because we think it's good every once in a while. And then we're not in horror, mystery, thriller land constantly.
My land.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you guys choose your books?
Well, we bounce back and forth. Actually, we have really been good about like, you choose one, I'll choose one. And yes, we usually bring a couple like, what do you think of these? But we try to go back and forth of each other bringing them. So I know my historical fiction's coming my way sometime soon. So.
See, and you might liken that to Snooze Fest, but historical fiction is going down because I like that and I'm going to make her read it.
Are you talking like Outlander historical fiction?
I haven't read or watched their books first. Yes, I don't know. Probably some Hannah Kristen or Kristen Hannah.
Oh,
I
yes.
like Kate Quinn. There's several that I like and I have on the back burner. We're getting ready for it.
Yay.
I hear great things about Hannah Kristen, and I almost recommended that for our pod, but it was
It's huge. It's huge. The
It's a
books
big
are
book.
massive.
Yes, and this one was her one about the Vietnam,
Yes,
That-
the women.
the women, and I was like, I just don't know that I'm ready to go to Nam. Like, I don't know if I'm ready to pod about that. I have had a question though, because y'all's name is so approachable, and I feel like there's a story behind that.
Maybe.
All right, I will let Jamie take this one.
Well, I think we talked about how neither of us has been part of a book club, but we've always thought it would be fun. And we are the people that tend to be walking around with RBF, is really what it comes down to. People don't think we are approachable. And they don't want to talk to us. They don't want to invite us. And so we're it's a little tongue in cheek because it's like, no, we are so approachable. We want everyone to talk to us. Like, it's just our face. We're like, just come up and talk to us. Like, we've just both been told that we're standoffish or we're snotty or something along those lines.
No.
And so the name is actually a quote from the book Divergent. So if you're a YA fan, Tris goes to say something to 4, and he says, "What makes you think you can talk to me?" And she says, "Oh, I don't know. It must be because you're so approachable." So that's where "so approachable" comes from.
Amazing.
Chrissy, do you remember during COVID what you did when your face was all covered up?
Oh,
Chrissy-
smile with your eyes? Your smize from Tyra Banks.
I'm all about the smize. Yes. Yes.
Chrissy told me, she's like, I have this mask on, but like I feel like I'm unapproachable now because people can't see my smile. So she's just like raising her eyebrows all crazy.
Yes. I think I got a lot of wrinkles from COVID because I had to be so expressive.
I told her, I said, we're prone to forehead wrinkles. I was like, snap. Like, don't do that.
Oh, don't
so
get me
funny.
started on the wrinkles.
No, don't get me started.
Well, rest assured from listening to your podcast and watching your video, you guys seem very approachable. So I would
That's
join
the
your
goal.
club.
That is the goal.
Okay, so are we ready to get into the perfect marriage and talk a little bit about our thoughts on that? Or do you have some more questions?
I mean, we could go on. We have more notes and we're prepared, but we can definitely jump into the book.
I'm just worried about time.
I know.
Because
Let's
we'll
go.
turn you into a 2-hour pod before you know it.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay, Chrissy, so we are going to spoil everything on Perfect Marriage, Perfect Divorce, and I think you have that recap for us.
Yes. Okay. So spoiling everything, but recap if you haven't read it in a while or haven't listened to our 10 hours of content that we've collectively put together for you. Okay. So Perfect Marriage. In this book, we follow Sarah Morgan, a super successful defense attorney, and her husband, Adam Morgan. Adam is in a bit of a pickle because after spending a sizzling night with his mistress in his lake house, she was found brutally murdered in the bed. Adam knows he's innocent, and so does his wife, Sarah, which is why she takes him on as a client. Sarah does the best she can, but the evidence is just stacked against Adam, and he ends up getting the death sentence. In the final chapters, we learn that Sarah is not only an all-star attorney, but is also a murder ninja.
No.
With some help from her coworker Bob, she killed the mistress and covered her tracks perfectly. The day after Adam is executed, Sarah and Bob get married and start their new life together with their daughter, Summer. Then, in the perfect... thoughts?
Oh,
No.
go ahead. Please
right.
continue
We're just all
on.
sighing because that's so...
I was so distressed at the end of the perfect marriage. Okay, so now in the perfect divorce, we pick up with Sarah and Bob, but now the turntables. Bob has been unfaithful to Sarah, so Sarah wants a divorce. Bob doesn't want that, but now they both know that they're murder ninjas. So the chase is on to see who can pull off the better crime. Sarah is leagues ahead of Bob and once again pulls off her crime without a hitch. Bob ends up dead. Sarah ends up in love with the assassin that Bob had hired to kill her. And no one suspects Sarah Morgan is the connecting piece in this trail of dead men that she is leaving in her wake.
That was spot on. Spot on.
Yes. All of that.
Gosh, such a crazy series.
It's so wild. In the first book, I was like, I'm going to throw this in the fire. I can't believe that this happened. But Jamie messaged me on Instagram, and she's like, there was a totally different ending.
Yeah. So, and I still don't know whether or not I am hallucinating or if I'm just being bamboozled by somebody on the internet, because we talked about how Jeneva Rose republished the book. So the original version went out, lots of people read it. There's a lot of really bad reviews.
Yes.
And then she redid it and went through a publisher and through editors. And so I swear, when I was looking up book club questions after we finished the book, the first article that came up had 7 new characters, and Sarah fought for him in court and got him acquitted.
What?
Adam was acquitted.
That changes everything.
I need to know more.
In the list of characters, so changed names. We've got Sarah and Adam and Kelly. They're all the same. The mom, the mother-in-law, plays more of a role in there. Her name is changed to Anne. Okay.
Confusing.
Super.
The
Bob
assistant.
Michaels, Bob, is actually the lead detective investigating the murder. So there's no other Bob. This is Bob now.
Okay.
Then we have Marlene Summers. Kelly's mom is in the story. Matthew Jameson is Adam's best friend and somebody who helps him on his case. Shannon Taylor is Sarah's close friend, so probably the Anne character.
Okay.
Then there's a judge presiding over the trial. We didn't ever learn about a judge. And there's the prosecutor. And, like, from this description, you're actually getting a look inside the courtroom is what it feels like. And so I'm very curious and would love to get my hands on one of the original copies to see if that's what that is, or if somebody is just playing games with me and put out this thing to completely mislead anybody who wanted to read this book, because this piece of paper makes no sense. And then when I went back to try to find it, because Sarah was asking about it, it took me like 2 hours to go and find this article again. I had to go through my search history and pull it up. Like, now it's all hidden, and I can't find anything about it. So I am very, very confused.
Would that be the biggest troll ever? Because so many people do book clubs and they're like, don't read the book. And so then they just ask these questions that are not relevant to the book at all, just to see who's like...
everything else talks about the exact same thing, about how the murder went down and now she's fighting for him. Like, everything else in that description seemed right, and then it's just all these new characters. I was just...
Well, they're not
so
new
confused.
characters because they're the same names, just different roles and different people. I mean, the whole thing is like wild.
So I think we decided, though, that you wanted him to live.
Yeah, I did.
I'm okay with him, like, whatever.
Well, because Sarah's so awful. I mean, she's like, what did you call her? A murder ninja?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what she is.
So what do you think? Would you have preferred that he was acquitted?
Acquitted feels like the opposite of the goal. I was hoping like life in jail, and then book 2, and I think you guys had posited this as well. In book 2, they're kind of duking it out where he finds out. I think that's what I had wanted. But Chrissy, what do you think?
I could have been happy with that. I didn't want him to die at the end. It just felt so unjust. I was so upset with the whole world. Like, I needed to sleep it off and like think about it for a few days because it was too much.
Well, and he's dying as he's realizing like everything. Like, oh,
As she's
no.
telling him,
so evil.
She is evil. Yes.
And then she gets like a book deal or something after.
Everything works out for Sarah.
It was wild. It was a wild ride.
Yeah, I think ultimately, me and Chrissy can agree, not dead, but also not acquitted. And
Fair.
I don't know if you found this in your research, but Jeneva had this lawyer who was like really dogging her on socials when her book came out. And he was like, that's not how the courtroom is, and this and this and that. And I wonder if that had something to do with taking out
Just
some
eliminating.
of this. Yeah, a lot of these like legal proceedings. And she's like, you know what? Forget it. He's dead now.
That makes a lot of sense, because that was my biggest gripe, and that's why my rating was lower, because none of that made any sense. And I wanted to see the courtroom, but if she was going to do it that improperly, I get why it was taken out. But I watch trials. Like, that is part of my job. That's what I've done in the past. I love the true crime stuff. And so it was like, did she really defend him tooth and nail? Did she really do a good job? Because I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all. I don't know if she actually sold it. And they mentioned that in the second book that, well, I was in the courtroom every day and she did a bang up job, and like that she did, but I didn't get to see that. So I was eyebrow raised. Like, I was very skeptical about her courtroom.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, Jamie. I have a lot less courtroom experience than you do, I think. I've just been watching Suits recently. But I thought the same thing. I was like, she's not doing a great job. She's like, well, my husband's innocent, but do remember that he did cheat on me for a long time. And I was like, why are you bringing this up?
Yeah, and really, I realized with Perfect Divorce that Jeneva does read, or someone for her does read, like the reviews. So she buttons some things up with that. So then that makes me think, okay, did she take that book, read a lot of the reviews, and go, all right, I got to redo this?
I feel like it's not book 1 and book 2. It's just one big book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because half of book 2 is like covering up these loose ends from book 1. What did you think about that? Did you like that technique, or you like, she should just left that in the past?
Well, I mean, I would say I liked it because it answered some of my questions that were like left open-ended at the end of that book. But I'm like, that was too obvious that that's exactly what she was doing. It was like, okay, I see what you're doing. So it was like, all right, well, at least she read the reviews and listened to her audience.
Well, and Sarah gave the second book a lower rating, whereas I really liked the second book because I already knew that Sarah was going to be very unreliable, and like I felt like I was in a really good starting place, and so I thought that the second book really flew by. Sarah just couldn't get past Bob's voice on the audiobook, so it took her a while to read it, and so it was just, I really enjoyed the second one, but I like the concept of it being just one book. I can see that.
Jamie, I think you, me, and Chrissy were all on the same page where we're like, it can't possibly just be a copy-paste plot. Sure. I was the only one who knew.
I've read too many of these books, and I feel like I opened up the book going, Sarah's a murder ninja, and so she has not changed, and so she leaves a line of like, if it's not, basically saying if it's not Bob, someone's got to pay for it. And so then I'm like, well, hello, she did something. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
We were hoping so bad that it was Anne. Who?
Yes.
She needs to come back.
She probably would. Well, I guess here's my question. Do you think she's going to come back? And because obviously we know she's not the end of Sarah Morgan.
I think that's our leading theory for book 3 is that Anne's going to save the world. She's been like keeping notes this whole time, and she's going to come back in book 3. Maybe she and Summer will work together to take down Sarah. I don't know.
Ooh.
But I think Anne.
You had the questions on here, like the most underutilized character, 100% Anne.
Anne.
Mm-hmm. I think her time's coming.
Mm-hmm. I was so suspicious of her the entire time, and she did nothing. Except get coffee.
I was going to say, I heard you guys say that on your podcast. And I was like, yes, thank you for saying that. Because Anne is like the most suspicious one. She's there through it all. So if Anne doesn't become a big player in book 3, I'll be very disappointed. I'm still holding out hope that that's her circle.
Me too. Anne's got to do something.
Yes. Geneva's still writing the book, so may these words get to her ears.
I'll tag her every time I post something. It'll get to her.
Well, Anne is the one who hired Bob's mistress lady. She hired that was the thing that was the sticking point for me, where I'm like, who would be so sloppy as to put this girl on payroll if it's not Anne? But then I was like, maybe Anne's trying to set up Sarah, and I just spiraled, and I was like, man.
She's been in on it from the very beginning. I'm still not convinced that it wasn't Anne stomping around up while people were being tortured. I thought it was Anne down in the basement with Stacy for a while. She had a sick day. It was weird. I don't know. She's been suspicious the whole time. I think she's playing dumb.
I also thought Eleanor, the mother-in-law, I thought she was going to have a bigger role too, especially in book 1, because she was out there doing her own investigation or something. It seemed like she kept popping back up, and then nothing ever happened the whole time.
It's true.
I was hoping there would be a little bit more there with Eleanor.
You guys listened, and did you catch the part where I told you that she gave me mad Evelyn vibes from The Housemaid?
Yes. We got the names mixed up all the time too.
But just this creepy mom, overbearing, wanting to control everything. That's the complete vibe that I got from that character. So I was kind of glad we didn't get a lot of her. I thought it was very comical in the second book that Sarah was writing her off as old and that she died. She wasn't old enough to have just died.
Yeah.
It felt very neat for her to kill off the mom. It was
It was
weird.
very like, all right, she's gone.
Yeah.
I forgot that she died. She died?
I'm pretty sure she died.
Oh my God. I was like, I feel like horrible people like that live forever.
Yeah. You know, Killy Millie, she's alive forever too, right?
Yes. Oh my God, obsessed. Okay, so between Adam and Eleanor, who do you think is worse?
You mean Adam or Sarah? Or Adam or Eleanor?
No.
Adam or Eleanor? I mean, well, he is cut from the cloth.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Mom gave me really bad vibes, so I would say Eleanor out of those two. But Adam in almost every other pairing, because Adam was just insufferable and was off script the entire time.
But I mean, we didn't see enough background on Eleanor. So it's also hard to say because of the information that we have from Adam. Obviously, we're like, ugh, he's horrible. But if I think like he's cut from the same cloth, I think she's got to be bad. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to learn it somewhere.
By the end with Adam, I was like, you're so horrid, but you lean in, and it's like, I kind of appreciate you and your flopness. So I feel like Eleanor. I'm thinking Eleanor. Chrissy, what about you?
I'm thinking Eleanor too, because I feel like she's just more. I think she knows more of what's going on in the world. So she just seems more like purposeful. Like when she's mean, she's like, at least, I know I'm a jerk, but whatever. Adam, I think he's just like kind of bumbling around. Like he's doing the best he can, but he's very insufferable. I don't like him either, but he's doing the best with what he's got.
Okay, what about Adam or Sarah?
I mean, Sarah, in my opinion, oof.
Worse, like evil, yes. But worse in just like, I would potentially be in, I think I said this in the episode, but like I'm Team Sarah because she was a boss and like she is conniving and intelligent. Adam was just run around like a chicken with his head cut off and had no idea. I mean, granted, he was being falsely accused of murder, so I might do that too if that were the case, but I appreciated Sarah's evil genius.
There were a lot of times where I'm like, if Adam doesn't die by the end of the book, like I might kill him. Like, so I know I said before he didn't deserve to die, but like if I were the arbiter of justice, I would say maybe he did. So I think Adam, just for his flopness compared to Sarah. Yeah, I'm really Team Jamie here because everything she was saying, like Sarah, she's very good at what she does. She's an evil genius, but she's a genius. Adam is just a bumbling fool.
I mean, she killed her own mother and she stabbed someone 37 times. I'm just saying.
I mean, there is
I think that's an excellent point, Sarah.
Okay, I don't want to be friends with Sarah, nor do I want her in my purview. But in terms of the book, I feel like Sarah, I respect her game, yes.
I know. I think Sarah's the most evil, but I do respect how excellent she is with everything she does. Pulls it off perfectly. But Sarah's all evil.
She thinks about what she's doing. I guess she's very like thought ahead of time, like what's going to happen next. So like even in book 2, she obviously has thought about that for a long time to even like the one good thing she does, right? And so she gets like, I can't even think of her name. Carissa out. And so I'm like, oh, see, there's her saving grace. She got Carissa free from this horrible man that she was with, but still.
And took her husband down at the same time. That was so smart.
Yes. That was a quick, like, okay, this wasn't the plan, but you know what? We're going to just repurpose.
Mm-hmm. I loved that.
Yeah.
All right, so this is similar, but between Sarah and Bob.
I have to still go with Sarah just for the evil genius because Bob was trying, but he was acting quite erratic and it was going to fall back on him. I don't think Bob had to die because everything was falling on Bob. He would have been locked away for years. So the fact that he died is rough on his behalf, but I have to pick Sarah.
I mean, Bob was an idiot. Like, you know what she's gonna do. and then you go and cheat. Like, come on.
I think we said it in both of our episodes, like at the end of the first one and in the second one, like, how dumb can you get, Bob? You don't cheat on Sarah.
Yeah.
We had postulated that maybe he didn't cheat on Sarah and Sarah just put on a wig and roofied him and then implanted the memories.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past her, so.
Inception style.
Yeah. Okay, Chrissy, who are you? Sarah or Bob?
Sarah, Bob. Sarah's still, she's just pure evil. But there are a lot of similarities between Adam and Bob. That was one of our things we had talked about, where it's like Adam was like lowest level of competence. Like he didn't know what Sarah was doing at all. Bob, he knew what Sarah was doing, but he wasn't quick enough to actually like foil her plans. So I don't know if that could be a prediction for book 3. If you guys have thoughts on that with Alejandro now in the picture of like, is he gonna be the one?
I mean, Sarah seems to me that she likes to pry on the weak because then she can kind of control them, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I already go into this knowing Alejandro's the new love, right? And so what he can
Gonna be dead.
Sarah get? She's obviously not going to get him to kill for her
No, because he's the worst hitman ever.
Oh my
ever.
gosh.
Yes, and
She has a type.
Yeah, she has a type. But yeah.
I have no idea how Alejandro will factor in. I would guess that he's actually like a vapor in the wind and he's going to be gone. Like, I mean, she said he was a loose end, but I don't think he's a loose end that will truly matter. I don't know.
I could see that.
Well, especially because Alejandro is the first guy that she's been with that has the least amount of credibility because he already has like a record. He would be so easy to throw back into the slammer. And then he would say these crazy things. She'd be like, oh, he's crazy. Although that would be like the third man.
Right. Not suspicious at all.
I was really disappointed with Bob because I was like, he should have had a video camera in that murder room.
Crazy.
How about that insurance policy?
All of it. Chrissy thought it was a real insurance policy.
That really confused me, that line.
I was laughing so hard while I was driving. I was listening to you guys and it's like, there's no insurance policy. What is she talking about?
No.
I was convinced.
No, it was the worst insurance policy. Just total flop. I was expecting so much more from Bob. Disappointment. So for that, deserves to die. I pick Sarah again. That's it. Okay, I think the last one we had was Stevens or Scott. So which deputy?
I mean, Stevens.
Yeah, Scott didn't do anything bad. Oh, Scott was the husband.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He was the...
He
I mean,
killed
he's the one
Steven.
that
Scott is the one that...
ultimately offed him, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
But Stevens had
He was dirty.
dirty
cop.
and incompetent.
So bad. I think you went into how bad he was at his job.
Yeah. I think the fact that Scott was able to kill Stevens so gruesomely, that puts him up on the list for me. And I think you guys may have said it too, but we feel like Scott has to come back, right? Scott has to be in book 3. Or he's at least locked up by book 3. He's a murderer.
I feel like, I don't know. This town is really not very competent.
It's
they
like
don't really
20
seem to
minutes
care.
away from us. This is ridiculous.
Oh, you were
it
so
really?
right. Yeah, because you guys are up in Maryland.
Yes. It's not really like that around here.
Okay. Okay.
I sure hope it's not. If
I haven't tested the judicial system around here, so I'm not really sure.
I feel like with Scott, he did kill Stevens, that I agree, like plus for efficiency and like execution. But he also, it seems like he beat up Kelly. I don't know if that's true or not.
Right.
And
we don't know.
We don't know. But I feel like with Stevens, he was intentionally incompetent because he was happy for Adam to get caught as long as it wasn't him getting looped into it. What do you think?
I still just am very confused as to how the sheriff could be having an affair with one of his deputies' wives. We've talked about it on our episodes many times. I hate cheaters, and
Yes.
it is just like, you're the superior, this is your inferior. Like, what are you doing? This is not okay at all. So I don't know. The fact that Stevens really blew everything up and just did a crappy job, I might go to Stevens.
Stevens also drunk drove and killed someone. I forgot about that. That
That's
puts you're the worst. Okay.
Did she actually
I forgot
die?
about that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was
she
like
did.
right towards the beginning, right?
Yeah,
At
it's
the
right.
beginning.
That's
Yeah.
right.
forgot
Yeah, I
about
think it's
that.
Stevens.
Yeah.
Well, we've kind of talked about what we think for book 3, but I think the main question is Sarah going to get her comeuppance? I love that word, by the way. It's amazing. And I really, really, really hope that she does. But part of me is also like, no, it's not going to happen. She's going to beat the system again. I think so.
So do you think it'll be a repeat then of book 1 and 2 of like Sarah pulls off this crazy crime?
If Jeneva reads the reviews, okay? Jeneva, if you're listening, okay? We would like to see her get, like, seriously, she needs
At least a slap on the wrist.
something,
Jeez.
right? And if it was her own daughter, how bad would that be, right?
Maybe
Next
Summer
generation.
does something to her. Maybe Sarah dies off the bat and then there's more evidence and then...
Maybe.
Interesting.
I
We
don't have
had-
hope.
I think that's reasonable. We had predicted, or one of our friends had suggested that the next book might be called The Perfect Funeral, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. And so that would be interesting if Summer offs Sarah and that's the funeral and then or Summer
that's the
like figures
mystery?
out everything. I don't know. There could be something there.
I think I read an interview that Jeneva gave, and she had joked about the perfect engagement.
Oh.
But that it wasn't written and that was not set in stone by any means, but that is a possibility.
Summer's engagement?
Ooh, maybe.
Could be.
Maybe she
Alejandro?
becomes the crazy mother-in-law.
So Sarah, you said this, that you feel like it could be Summer who does like the comeuppance. And I really like that because it makes this like full circle moment of the cycle repeating itself of this horrible gene pool just carrying on.
I mean, even her name, like, if she found out the history of how she was named, it's horrible.
What would you do if that was your mom?
I would change my name. And I would probably like file for, like, I'm going to be like
Emancipated.
Yes,
Emancipated.
absolutely. Take me out. Bye.
Yeah, maybe go from summer to autumn or, something else.
I think that's grounds for we don't talk anymore. I'm like, why don't you talk to your mom? You're like, well, she's a serial killer, so I just can't.
I mean, I think that it would be great, to put her in jail, but I don't think I would ever visit her.
I mean, but a little girl needs her mom. That's where it's...
That was your mom? You'd go visit her?
I don't know.
I feel like Anne is going to be new mummy,
Oh.
like the surrogate mom.
Doctor in.
Yeah, so I think Kristen mentioned that today of them teaming up, and I really like that idea.
Yeah. Anne's
could be
got to
good.
come into this. Like, she has to. She can't just be a nobody.
Well, Auntie Anne was watching Summer when Bob and Sarah had dinner together the night of all the murders and stuff. So maybe they were plotting then. Anne was like, I got to fill you in on some things.
Summer's 8.
I was going to say, you're a
She's gotta
9-year-old
start
girl.
early.
Oh, my
Okay,
goodness.
8's maybe a little too early, but she's planting the seeds.
She's planting the seeds. I could see that.
Okay. Well, I think time-wise, we probably need to start wrapping up. But I'm curious,
so.
outside of Perfect Marriage, Perfect Divorce, what has been your favorite book to cover?
Ooh.
Or what book surprised you the most, A or B?
I think favorite one to cover is easy for me. We have turned into just a housemaid podcast. We love it. It's amazing. But especially Housemaid Secret, we just went off the rails for that one. The book also
That's
went
the
off the
second
rails.
one?
Yeah.
That's the second one. Yeah. Yeah. And I liked your episode on the first one. Have you guys read any of the subsequent books?
She has. I have not. I only read the first one. I have the second one over on my bookshelf, but I haven't touched it yet because we're so busy.
Fair. Highly recommend. Would be a great podcast episode. Would love to hear your thoughts. It just keeps getting crazier.
It does. And it's like, I actually, answering this question, I would say my favorite of ours was Housemaid 2. I loved that. I mean, it was intense and exciting. And really, to me, like, that's more of a story. Like, it also was our first. Mm-hmm. And so it was, like, really fun to sit down and just spill all the tea. And it was great.
My favorite, though, I think, and I think you said this was the one that surprised you the most.
Oh, yes.
I very much enjoyed going back into the Hunger Games and doing the new Sunrise on the Reaping.
Yeah.
Because I am a YA fanatic, and that is my heart. And she hasn't read any of them. And so I made her read the prequel, Sunrise on the Reaping. And what'd you think about it, Sarah?
I was surprised. I don't know. Have you guys read any of those books?
I've read the first trilogy.
Okay.
When they first came out.
Okay.
Yeah, and Katniss drove me nuts.
That's fair.
And Chrissy, have you read any of them?
Yeah, I read the trilogy, but I haven't read the prequel.
Okay. Well, I've read none of them. I fell asleep like halfway through the first movie. Like, so I had like just a touch of info. And so for me, it was surprising how entertaining it was. I was like, wow, this is super entertaining. No wonder they like sell millions and millions of copies. It was very surprising. And I was like, all right, Jamie, thanks for introducing me to that one.
Well, and that actually, so we did a bonus episode for that where I did a recap of the trilogy.
I loved that. Yes.
And so that was really fun for me to get to reminisce and go down memory lane and revisit that and share my love with Sarah. And that book is one of our best performing episodes or set of episodes. So a lot of people have enjoyed those as well. So YA, if you're fans, head over, check it out.
Yeah.
You added so much context to the books because I haven't read them since they first came out, and I was like in high school-ish type of time, and I wasn't thinking super critically about it. And there's just a lot more color to the world than I had thought. Like, I didn't even think about it. It's actually in like the US, and these are like the grouping of the states. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I think I would be down to read them again and give it another revisit.
I highly recommend. What would you say your favorite book has been, Candy?
Definitely, to recap, was The Housemaid 2. I don't think I've laughed that hard in a long time. It was just constant laughs. We didn't... And that's, I think, where the idea of Killy Millie came about. And I just love that because there's so many thrillers where they just don't make sense. And if you just say, you know what, there's a demon that just cleans up all of the DNA and wipes people's memories as they do their murdering, you're like, okay, this makes a lot more sense. So I think that's probably my favorite by far.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. Okay, well, I think I mentioned it earlier, but we are on Spotify, and we are on Apple, and we are on YouTube. Also on social media, we're Facebook and Instagram. I try to post stuff on there every day. We put out YouTube shorts, so there's engagement. There's things to weigh in on. If you listen to it, if you love it, leave a review. I know you guys are always, give a 5-star review, give a 5-star review. Like, it really does help.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, so this is great. And what's the next book that you guys are going to be doing after The Perfect Divorce?
What is next? Oh,
Remarkably Bright
Creatures. I think that you guys have that on your list too. No.
Yes. Okay. Oh, you're going to love that one. That's so fun. We're doing the Thursday Murder Club.
Yeah.
Which is...
I'm so glad you took that recommendation. It's so fun.
It's very different and fun. And I was like, all right, I got to get out of like Kill Zone. And so that's what took us over to Remarkably Bright Creatures because needed something out of that.
I think when these episodes come out, your next one is Remarkably Bright, and it'll be our next one, too.
Awesome. So they can get a deep dive with you guys, like chapter by chapter.
Check out the TLDR episode
Yes.
first, and then go chapter by chapter, and then come back to us
for the full
Oh,
recap.
I love that.
That's so fun. We're reading all the same books, so we should definitely do a book club part 2. This was so wonderful to meet you guys. Thanks so much for joining our club today.
Well, that was fun.
It was so much fun. I loved doing that. Do you think we should do it again?
I don't know. Should we do it again?
Yeah. So find us on Facebook, Instagram. You can email us, soapproachablepodcast@gmail.com. If you thought that was fun and we could look for some more collaborations, I know the Bookalicious girls are doing a lot of the same books that we've done, so we could collab with them or find some other friends, or we had Katie DeBoer on as an author. What do you guys think? We're always looking for feedback.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what our listeners, obviously we're here for you. We want this community to open up and tell us what they enjoyed, because we enjoyed that.
Yeah. So in the meantime, keep reading.
Keep ranting.
And remember, you're so approachable.
Okay, the episode is over. If you enjoyed it, could you give us a thumbs up or leave a review?
It goes a long way toward helping us grow and meet new people like you.
Subscribe to get notified when the next episode drops.
You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook to see what we're reading next, recommend new books, and join the conversation.
We're so excited to have you on board.